come on in and join us.
We're going shopping for records today with Talent Soap Factory.
It's a beautiful morning with the Barbershop Duet.
Hi, I'm Marcus Klinger with Klinger Vocal Studio.
And I'm Sarah Vincent with Sarah Vincent Virtual Pilates.
The reason I can't move my left hand is Elaine Stretch, and together we are the
Barbershop Duet.
Hey, y'all, come on in. Thank you for finding our little barbershop. If you happen to be here during the live premiere, why, come on in the live chat and meet the Whiff Pack, a cool group of folks from all over the world hanging out. They'd love to meet you, too.
They would. And for our mention today, when we were packing up after our Daddy Longlegs episode, we found a splash we bought but had completely forgot about. So we actually have the Silence of the Hams splash to open for you today.
Yeah, y'all, and it is now called Long Live Bacon.
Yes.
But y'all, look at my face. I am not sure how they captured the scent of a Michelin star breakfast restaurant kitchen, but they did. This is not Denny's. This is not IHOP.
It still has the perfect sides of everything. Like, we smelled it in the splash,
Great.
but there's something here. The maple is present, the bacon is present, and then there's something sweet and just plays in with that syrupy vibe somehow. Ooh. Take a whiff, see what you think.
Oh, I am so excited to have this in an aftershave. One of the things about this hobby that I love are liquids that shouldn't smell like liquids. How did you get that to smell like bacon? Miracles and wonders. And what's our soap today?
For our soap today, we will introduce you to a famous dog named Nipper. Let's meet the soap.
All right, y'all. So from the sales page at Etsy.com.
If you have ever been in a secondhand store and picked up a vintage LP and removed it from its dust jacket, that is this smell. Vinyl, aged paper, and adhesive. The scent profile literally says vinyl records.
Y'all, the video you are about to see is a little dog named Nipper, and you might have heard the name of this soap before. It's called His Master's Voice. Well, it comes from a very famous and one of the very first ad campaigns where they put a dude's voice through a gramophone, and his little dog, Nipper, was so blown away by hearing his master's voice come out of this little box that he literally attacked the gramophone. Yo, what a legacy behind this soap. Let's take it out of the cover and see if it has any scratches on it. All right, what else do we have in here?
We bought a few. We did. I couldn't help myself. Some of these labels just got me. I couldn't help it. This one, just because of the label, it's literally a tuna can.
And the set notes are mackerel, tuna. No, I'm just kidding. Y'all, there is nothing more beautiful to me than the sticker in the middle of a record. Look at that. That's how they did the label.
Right. So
I
smart.
love this, and I am so excited. And we might even have a little show and tell with an ancient record collection today. Let's have a first impression. Wait a minute. Mark Dine Finster off Foxtrot. I wonder if this is like the first record album.
I wonder if they redid that.
I will have to look this up
Wow.
and figure that out. That's
It does
really
say the
cool.
Gramophone Company.
No, I love this. I don't know if this is RCA, but I know that logo eventually became associated with RCA. All right, I want you to take this in
think?
because I know this smell really well. In fact, hold on a second. Get your schnoz in there. Take a sniff. Yeah, here.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Now that you
Yeah.
have a little reference.
Wow.
All right,
Ooh.
take it in, see what you get.
You don't realize how much you know that scent until you dive your nose in, and you really do.
Some of the most exciting buildings my whole life have had that exact smell. We live near Berkeley, where there's like Vinyl Corner, Rasputin's
Yes.
Tower. It's all there. Well,
Okay.
Okay, take it
Is
in.
it going to be the time warp I'm expecting?
Let's do the time warp
Right?
again.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like this might be a brand new.
Oh!
Which you would definitely know more than I would.
Nice.
Like I feel like it's a pristine new record, which is a whole different purchasing experience.
Did I see dust on it? No,
No.
I did not. Ah, yeah, I do have a few modern records that could actually smell like this.
Right? Because it does say a dust jacket, like all the parts, and the vinyl aged paper and the adhesive, and those are for sure here.
Nice. What do you get? Is it more like a chemically smell, or what do you think?
A little, more than not as more of the dusty side like that would be,
Right.
And a little more mildewy, like like the age
these
that
are?
comes a little bit,
Gotcha.
like just time is with it, like kind of
I
like
think
going
the
into a
cardboard
library.
itself kind of gets a little bit of a mildew.
It does. It's not
Kinda
bad,
smells
but
really-
it's attached to that.
Yeah.
So that is like the aged version. This, I feel like, is walking into a new, shiny, never been touched record album.
Hey, y'all. Well, all the new albums are coming out on vinyl again. They just surpassed CDs in sales again a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Ooh, there is hope for us yet, there 1975 babies.
Our friends were waiting in line on Black Friday to get the new Taylor Swift album because it was hot pink, I think, something fun.
Wicked was coming out in green and pink vinyl. Y'all, Mysteries and Wonders. I think my Evan Hansen one is blue vinyl.
Oh, yeah.
It's very
See,
cool.
that might be this. Like, that new experience of, like, peeling off the plastic to get to the dust jacket and all the parts there.
Because vinyl is not vintage anymore. You know?
It's funny. The first half, to me, I get the actual record. Like, that brand new part of it. Like, like the sticker on the cover. Everything is new.
Adhesive, right?
Yeah. And then at the very end, I get more of the adhesive-y kind. Not like rubber cement. Nothing overpowering. Like, but y'all know that smell. But it just has a gentle hint of the type of adhesive you have to use to put it on all of these.
I'm going to say it. Not every gorgeous smell in the world grows out of the ground. It's not all roses.
No.
Sometimes, for me, the adhesive on the back of postage stamps tastes amazing. Sometimes licking envelopes for 20 minutes is a delightful experience.
True.
I don't know why, because they're not flavored or anything. No. It does just taste like the glue, but it's a safe glue. You can lick it. It's non-toxic. There's natural stuff in there, and it doesn't taste bad. Unlike Nintendo Switch cartridges, because they were so small, the FDA was a little scared about kids putting them in their mouth, so Nintendo coated them with the world's most bitter substance. So don't put your Switch cartridges, no matter what you do, in your mouth. And if you do, call us. Or at least put it in the comments with pictures. Does it have a clean sense to it?
Yeah, but like the new shiny thing. Like your record has never had a pin on it. Like it's that kind of a shiny, clean. It just reminds me of buying like your brand new pair of shoes and they have a different smell, like, or a brand new purse for us ladies that know, like there's that cleanliness straight out of the packaging smell.
Why is new car scent the most popular air freshener? What's it actually smell like? Plastic and leather?
Yeah.
And yet, bring it on!
It's interesting because I feel like if you were ever to tell us when we first started this that we would have a soap that smelled like this and we'd want to put it on our face, we would think you were crazy. Right. But for some reason, yes, the nostalgia, that moment of like waiting in line at the store to get your record, your CD, your something, and peeling that plasticky layer off and it has a smell. I'm not going to say that's not this.
It's amazing. Well, it's like Silence of the Hams. When we tell people it's like bacon, they're like, why do you want to put that on your face? And then they smell it and they go, oh, can I have some of that?
Right?
Amazing.
And from Talent Soap Factory, we got the one that kind of smelled like spray paint. And it's super fun and like a teen rebellious vibe. I don't know how, but it works.
So comforting about the smell of drying paint, especially for the daughter of a contractor.
It's true.
Y'all, who knows where the most beautiful, comforting scents are going to come from in this world? But they're here for you, no matter what your dad did for a living. Mine was a funeral director, and I've got soaps for that.
You'd think after 450 soaps, there wouldn't be ones that could still surprise us. And I gotta say, this might be... You know, it may not be a complete crowd pleaser, but it's a big nostalgia one, maybe. Like, that could be bracket.
All right, I got to take this in. Let me see what we're dealing with here. I'm a little curious to see how natural this is going to be. If this is going to be like on the totally realistic side or the I can see how a perfumer recreated that side.
I don't know how they created this, but I will tell you, it's what they were going for.
Okay, here we go. I'm diving in. Whoa. Okay, y'all, on my Adobe program, I can take the colors of a picture and turn them up, the saturation.
Right.
That's all that's been done here. It's real. It's beautiful. And then they just turned up the saturation so that the potency is a little bit stronger. Because let's face it, you really have to dig your nose into this to smell the vinyl record.
Yeah.
This you don't.
No.
And it's being given a tiny little hint of something in the balance to make it a tiny bit more wearable than just the vinyl. But y'all, look at my face. It's only 10% of it. And I think, I'm reluctant to say this because I don't want your nose to zone in on it, but I think it's a little bit of a mint. I think it's a little bit...
I was going to say like a floral or something maybe.
Yeah, almost hinting at sort of a cucumber scent on the very outside. But if my nose goes to anything that's not vinyl, it's a little bit of a sense of like a plaster or something that's absolutely a cousin or a sibling to that first scent, just to turn up that saturation and give you a real personality in this soap. I feel like the Volkswagen one, L20B, was a little bit softer, a little bit more of a vibe. This one's way more real. This one's more of a personality. Do you smell a tiny bit of like an artisan peppermint toothpaste under the surface of all of it, just to give it a subtle minty hint? And I think that's why you're sensing it as clean. It's putting it in a clean store rather than the thrift store where I bought my records. That was not clean, but it was beautiful.
I do get what you're saying. It almost has like a chalky kind of a side to it. Like, is there like not a baking soda, but something to me that like that clean kind of chalkier toothpaste, you know, there's
something
that
like
more natural side to it, but I get that here.
But the star is the vinyl album, y'all. Unreal.
Yeah. And it's funny there. My brain sees like shiny clean, but then my other side gets more that papery texture of like the cardboard. Like somehow the texture is also attached to that smell.
And you know what? A little bit of that minty hint is from the adhesive.
Ooh.
Which is what's making it so real and it's so beautiful. Because adhesives to me do have kind of a mentholy, almost minty hint to them a lot of the time. So I think that's the one that's in here.
Ooh, okay. But again, if you were wondering if you could put it on your face, I think that part is really going to be what helps.
Absolutely. And it's not a dusty smell. It's a clean, minty, sort of vinyl-y smell to it. This is lovely. Well, y'all, let's go back to the page and take a look at the set notes and play a little show and tell with our record collection. All right, y'all, back to the sales page at Etsy.com. The set profile is
vinyl records. That's all.
Nailed it. And y'all, why do they call them record albums? Well, this was my grandma's. This is an actual record album. And the records were so big that they only had 1 or 2 songs on each side, so they had to come in an album. Is that cool? And they looked like this. They were way thicker. I think they were made of like an acetate rather than a vinyl, so they're super brittle if you drop them. And constant viewers know that when I was 5 years old, my mom went to a therapist because I could not sleep. I would not fall asleep until well after midnight every night. Small child. Well, the therapist told her to get me a black and white TV and let me watch Johnny Carson's monologue every night. The other solution that she had was, does he have a record player? Well, yes, a small Fisher-Price one. Give him your old record player. Go out and get a new one. Let him buy some records, storytelling, musicals, things that'll keep his mind active as he's trying to fall asleep.
Right.
In Rodeo, California, and if you had ever been there, please put it in the comments, there was a fantastic legendary thrift store called St. Vincent de Paul's. And in the back right-hand side of this thrift store was a bookcase that had floor-to-ceiling used vinyl, because cassettes and 8-tracks had just started to be hinted at, and vinyl was being jettisoned. And y'all, I got these for 10 cents each, and I got to pick out one a week. And what was cool about that was, unlike streaming services, when you brought your record home, you had a full week where this was the only star of your stereo system, and you really got to get to know it. Which wasn't such a big deal when you had these sort of with a free tank of gas Christmas albums. Right. But they were a big deal when you had things like this. Because when I got introduced to the Supremes by my mama from her record collection, I got to spend a week devouring the record album of Jesus Christ Superstar she bought at the Oakland Coliseum during the first national tour. Her Woodstock album. Y'all, I don't know if this is the first edition, first printing. Wow. And on the day John Lennon was shot, we went down to Hilltop Mall in Richmond, California and bought his brand new record. This is the actual copy that Mom bought that day.
Wow.
And we came home and we listened to it. And she skipped every Yoko song. That was my mama.
She knew.
There are a few of my dads. You can tell which ones are my dads. Like that. This is my grandpa's. This is Mom's dad. This is the Norman Luboff Choir. Bunch of cowboys sitting around singing campfire songs. You wouldn't think, but y'all, listen. Oh, give me a home where the buffalo. Are you kidding me? How beautiful is that? And the star of my mama's record collection was Janis Joplin, alive long enough to give us this, and I think this was her solitary LP offering. It was published months after her death.
Right.
But y'all, I sang Mercedes-Benz at Mama's memorial service. What an album this is. Cry Baby, that'll set you free. These were Mama's, the Dave Clark 5. Oh, man, that was a big deal. We just lost one of the original Peter, Paul, and Mary. This was her Peter, Paul, and Mary, our favorite record of theirs. And y'all, would her record collection be complete without a few offerings from the Beatles? As she told it, she hid her marijuana cigarettes behind her Beatles posters, but she never smoked them. It was the 60s. It was the style at the time. And just to be a completist, the single that she bought on the day John Lennon was killed in New York City. I visited.
Yeah, me too.
There, the Imagine
Me too.
Circle in Manhattan.
It was really beautiful. Like everyone, there were flowers there. Like every day, different colors.
30 years later.
Yeah, and they keep it. It's like the shrine had to keep the flowers going.
Yeah, it's just across the street from the Dakota Hotel. You are right about the new vinyl, and I also get, and I really thought this was impossible to do in a shave soap, that sense of cardboard. It's really there. Do you smell it from the record album itself?
Yes, I do. I feel like I wandered into a little time capsule of a thrift store, but it's not old. It's not dusty. It just, it has like, even we went in Grass Valley, there was one that we pulled off to the side.
Right.
And I remember walking in and being like, wow, I haven't smelled this in years. But somehow all these stores have that same character and personality and just that gentle, chill, stay here as long as you want vibe.
It's not a thrift store. It's a consignment store. I think it's peppermint.
I think you're right.
There's a drop of peppermint. But y'all, think about vinyl, think about cardboard, think about glue, and then add a drop, a wisp of a cool air breeze peppermint. That's what makes this magic.
There's just something about painting with scent and the actual character that's coming across here. If you were just to take a quick whiff, you might not get the full scope of it. Like both of us has taken like a long whiff, and you need that. It's like opening the door. You just need a moment to let the scent wash over you.
And how cool would it be the first time you're wearing this and somebody says, "Oh, that's lovely. What are you wearing?" Billy Joel's Greatest Hits, Volume 1 through 3. They're just so fragile. Do you know how many records I have broken and cried over? But you know what? You know why it's so important to buy records? You know why the upcoming generation is buying them like crazy? Because streaming has problems. My favorite album by my favorite artist is called Alexa, Play the album Barbara Jones Streisand by Barbara Streisand.
This is Barbara Streisand from Marcus Spotify.
Nope.
That's not it. When you ask for Nina Simone,
right,
it says playing Nina Simone and Friends, and it doesn't start with Nina Simone. Y'all, of all the musical ghosts you don't want to piss off, number one is Nina Simone. You were born smack dab in the era of cassettes. Did you have any record albums?
No. We had a record player, but it was much more by the time I was really enjoying music was more CDs. I did have cassettes, and I would put the cassette in the player and try and time it to record it on your, get the radio while you could get that song so you could have it. Like, that was a big deal. And then once you could really, like, when I finally got my car that could have a CD player, that was a big deal. Or back in the day when you record on your phone voicemail to get the song, like that was a thing too, But I did not have my own records, but it was a big deal for me to get my own CD. Like my sister and I shared a room, so we both had to agree on what CD we wanted to get. It was a big decision.
That might not have been an easy thing for you and your sister to decide on.
It was a big decision.
My first car, an old Hoopty, still had an 8-track player in it. And when you're listening to a song and it fades out in the middle, the 8-track clicks over to the next track, and then it fades back in like that's how it's supposed to go. And y'all, let's take all this music and work it up into a lather, shall we? Why don't you come along? Y'all, so I want you to see the consistency of this soap. There's a little bite back to it, to the stick, to show you some business has been done. And then I'm going to put this in the bottom of my AKA Brushworks custom bowl. This bowl was a tribute to a shopping trip for tennis shoes that I took a long time ago, and that I couldn't decide between the turquoise and the magenta, so I got them both. This is our bougie sprayer. Would you like to walk these good folks through our lathering ritual here at the Barbershop Duet?
So Marcus is kind of vertically blooming the soap by putting that here. And then we're going to take the brush and go right towards the soap. Go one way, go the other way, and then you turn your brush 25%. Keep going. Get some more on each little bristle as you go forwards, backwards, and then you're going to rotate it again.
Keep pushing down, find a little bit of the backbone.
And then once you feel like you got the majority of the soap on those bristles, then you can dive down and get the water and add that into the soap.
Now, you can either take this to the face, to the legs, or into this fabulous bowl. Look at this, yo.
Wow, it's actually opening up a lot more, like intensity-wise. I'm getting a lot from right here.
Indeed. And Amelia and Gardner at AKA are now making custom brush soakers to match, y'all. And y'all, as a voice and acting coach, one of the things that is really hard to get when you walk out on stage is confidence. It takes time. It takes experience. Yes. However, I have found that sometimes in this wet shaving world, there are little hidden ways to put little superheroes on your shoulder. And if I ever did have to go back into the recording studio, which can be a little daunting, and record some things, I would absolutely wear this. You know why? Because it's going to be that little reminder all day that I have a secret. I know what this scent is that I'm wearing, and it's the record that I am making right now. And if I ever get a little nervous or a little anxious, I'll just take a deep inhalation and remind myself, I've got this on my shoulder. And it works for all kinds of things. You go into the beach, we got you covered. The library, hey, well. Talent Soap Factory's even got you covered if you're going to be working with turpentine, which they will tell you is not for everybody. But if you love the scent, they got you covered.
I still can't get over the details on this label. I hope you guys can see at home, but there is so much detail in here. And there's even like built-in scratches.
We are so dropping the ball on something. Why don't we have a label rating system?
Oh, well.
We have never done that. 1 to 10? This is a 9.
Oh, for sure.
Yo, look at this.
You know immediately what you're looking at. It's not like, is that a record label? No, you know immediately this is the actual sticker on the center of the record.
Let's start rating the label artwork. Yeah. We are in the era of AI, and I think non-AI should be rewarded. Yep. There you go. Stay tuned.
Like the attention to detail for us as artists, I think we really noticed that. I couldn't let this go by without purchasing it. I didn't even care what it smelled like. Right. But after seeing this label, I had to have this in our collection.
And y'all, I know we never comment on lather hair at the Barbershop Duet, but even the well-seasoned brethren will text me, have you tried Talent Soap? It's really good. Yes. Yes, I have.
And they often have giant sales, like 50% off stuff. So if you're ever wondering about them, keep an eye, flag their shop on Etsy and put the little heart because you want to be updated on those.
Usually it's Black Friday, folks, where we find our big sales, but not at Talent Soap Factory. Y'all, not only does this smell reminiscent of plaster, but look at it.
It's like the full yogurty, like white thickness is happening.
Oh, are you kidding me? Look at this. Listen. That is the sound of safety. Would you like a little?
I would. I'm not gonna theirs is a vegan base too, and it's lots of different butters. You can really feel that like padded slickness somehow. Like
it does.
The foamy part, I don't know how, but it stays there. That's the slickness.
Feels expensive.
It does.
And isn't that what the hobby is about? Giving yourself that ritual to make you feel better in a ritual that's normally making you feel worse.
I am having such a time warp with this scent. It really is taking me back. Like at first, I don't know if I would have picked out immediately just because albums weren't as big for me, but there is still some kind of a nostalgia thing coming through this, even if I didn't connect the album part right away.
Right. What's your favorite album of all time?
Ooh, that's actually very hard for me. But I want to say, I think it was one of the first Pink CD albums that I got. My sister and I were kind of rebellious, and it was the first explicit CD we had. But there was something about Pink's vibe and that strong female thing coming through that both of us were like, nah, we need her for sure. It's got to happen.
For me in high school, it was the I'm Breathless album by Madonna because it was the combining of two worlds, 80s pop and Stephen Sondheim. She sang Stephen Sondheim with Mandy Patinkin. But from the thrift store, it was an album by Dr. Seuss when I was 5 or 6 years old called Bartholomew and the Oobleck. And it was the same guy who did all the voices. And I was like 13 before I figured that out. He was so good.
And there was a few that you'd had that were like a book on tape idea, but it was like a book on record.
They were smaller. They were like 45s. They would go along with the book. You turn their pages.
So cool.
Yeah. There was even a record that came on the back of a cereal box.
What?
You would cut it out and put it's cardboard, and you'd put it on your record player, and your mom would be like, "Don't put that on my record player. Go put that on your crappy record player." But it worked, and there was a McDonald's one too that was like a sweepstakes, and if your record ended with the right words, you won like $1 million.
So you had to listen.
So everybody put this crappy commercial record on their record player and played it from the New York Times.
There's something in the middle that gets sweet or creamy or like in the lather. It's
Right.
a little more there.
Well, think of that record album smell. There is a sweetness to it. It's not a bitter, sour smell. So it's pretty simple, folks. You're just going to be pawing through your mom's record collection when you're about 7.5, and you're going to come across one by George Carlin called Toledo Window Box. And she's going to say, "Oh, you should listen to that one." You're not going to understand everything he says, but listen to how he uses his voice like music. Gotta love my mom, because I got my own. So head over to etsy.com/shop/talent soap factory to find this and all kinds of other cool stuff. Well, I've had my shave, y'all. With his master's voice. The type of scent, when described to your family, are going to get slightly raised eyebrows. But hold on a second. We love our Aventus. We love our green Irish tweed because they make us smell fabulous. But this actually carries my heart and soul back to those afternoons when I would go traipsing into Berkeley with my best friends with nothing but a wallet full of quarters and a desire for brand new vinyl, because you could buy them back then for a song, or the joy of discovering my parents' or my grandparents' box of records in the garage or the basement. That's what this captures for me. And I mean it. The next time I go into the studio, I'm keeping Nipper at my ankles. I will see you at our next one, Talent Soap Factory. Thank you for this. Welcome to Messages, y'all.
So for our January giveaway, we wanted to give you a chance to get one of the inaugural soaps that just dropped on Etsy from Adopted Acres.
All you have to do to be eligible for this giveaway is send us an email here to WeSentYou at thebarbershopduet.com so we can get back to you, and check back in our first February episode to see if you are a lucky winner and you can even get our collab soap.
Best of luck.
You know, here's a fun game.
Okay.
If you were to rename this something to be more evident of its crowd-pleasing elements, what might you name this?
Ooh.
The Banker.
Oh, actually, that could work.
You know?
The Toys R Us magazine.
Hey. New Year's confetti. Y'all, you don't need the power of suggestion to find the beauty in this scent.
I know I kind of bought this just because of the label, but the scent is super fun. I'm glad we have this in our den. Don't forget your next appointment with the Barbershop Duet.
You'll sound better just watching this.